The White Noise Machine's back on. Yeah, we're going ahead and continuing the radio shows. If I was standing in my fort, which is the only place I'm allowed to speak at the altar for my confessions, to distract the men on the pew while they're being kind of indoctrinized to a certain chapter of a certain anything that involves folk, was one question I have, almost as if the mean old man that would stand behind me and I would lie through my teeth, grift, confuse, whatever, keep on his toes. In his story, and I mentioned that earlier, and Squirrely's were different as far as mine. Never quite made the at-home radio show. The squirrel predominantly, and I'd go out there and do my routine. My routine wasn't what I said earlier. Generally, and I wasn't lying then. What was the radio show at the Pew with the squirrel? It wasn't for them. It was for the fall tour to raise funds by actually selling from the VIP yard sale. Is that allowed next to the the, it's a busy place where I would make money on funds before. Well, I mentioned I had the fabric store. Yeah, work in the morning. Yeah, that there was house chores, right? Yard work. You get that up until you're 30 exactly. So first you get the man in the high castle in the back of the head after being abducted by Iranians in St. Petersburg, and then you're left there until the Marines pick you up, and then you get the Elias as you're escaping from the dead Marine, supposedly, that got one in the man in the high castle back at the head sort of thing. I have the scars. And around the city they call it, well, they used to, until violent crime became 112% over state capita in the city. I went the following year, and an old friend of mine, I have three guy friends, and we used to play a dozen games. You pick, and I says, I have three guy friends, and he says, well, let's play a dozen teams. So we settle on six celebrities, but they have to be three male and three female, and that would be more for a public thing. Back in 2013, I was with a friend, had a friend, and he was an old friend in the 90s. Oh, it's getting late, but at least my friends were on, and saw this and that, but it dropped and it dropped and it dropped and it dropped, and that was in the little city, not the this, that and this and that. It sounds horrifying. I'm not allowed to bring it up now. So we got some pivot of a review. They said it's disbelief. That place was never like that. Everything's been perfect. Nothing bad has ever happened. Hell, even I said that whenever EMS was outside the door dealing with whatever I don't deal with in vacation home. Not that I was scared. Hell, I'd go downtown and someone would shout, Jalalabad! And someone else would shout, Bada boom! And I would go, Bordeaux! And not in vacation home radio quiet behind white noise machines, and there'd be firefights and fist fights and pirates and not a drunken bar, I mean like MEC USA fighting each other to death. Violent crime was mostly murder. It's an evil place. Back to, 2013, 14, 15, and then I was down, my last fight down there was 12 weeks ago or less, and they said innocent free to go, and I said, look at all that, well, they said, look at all that blood, well, you really did it this time, and whatever nickname they gave me, the U.S. generally doesn't, and I keep my distance. They said innocent free to go, so, and I gave my story, it was self-defense. I gave my story on DC3 a few times, and we're going to skip all of that. Not the radio show. Salvatore loves to hear it. Okay, so I was in the back, well, we'll skip that part of the radio show. I wanted a sugar reef for the old audience. We called him Bully of American Life in the previews. If you were to watch part of the previews on Project DC.3, I guess you got one answer. The old man, and that and that was there, and this, and I wasn't supposed to mention Hospital Lizard, and it's all G-rated. Are you kidding me? It's Donald Trump, year 3, and that place still isn't cleaned up. Send more Trump. Winnie Trump in the Coast Guard Academy for the presidential address this May instead of the vice president, apparently. I look forward to it. And the story with Silva, who's actually my grandpa. I lived 13 years with him. He taught me everything I'd ever for 13 years. He taught me Swinglish, he taught me bad English, and his mom for 6 years beforehand taught me Swedish straight. I used to live at his mom's house, now I have vacation now. Anyway, his story, what I mentioned in the last chapter, was he and his brother, and this is another secret in case you were, well, there was this William character. He passed away in Long Island Sound. He was younger than Silva. You see, Long Island Sound is New London, Thames River, pretty much. They were on their way out after torpedo school. He fell off and drowned. Well, Silva made it all the way to the Great Bay of China and at least witnessed the surrender of Japan on his way home. Came all the way home in one piece, and well, he stayed a submarinist until 2003. Coincidentally, in 2003, normally on the radio show, we'd find out in uncensored news a plane fell on Groton, killed people, and injured people. Lots of people. Gotta go. No more white noise. Until we meet again.